सो वेलकम गाइस, कैसे हो आप सब। तो आज बेसिकली कल मैं स्ट्रीम नहीं कर पाया था बिकॉज सम इशू, मतलब घर में कुछ फंक्शन वंक्शन था इसलिए। तो आज अपन स्ट्रीम करेंगे वैलोरेंट में। आज अपने मैच को स्टार्ट, आज ईडीजी और बीबीएल का मैच। चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं मैच मस्ती से। और जो भी लोग देख रहे हैं स्ट्रीम को लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब करना है यार, अच्छे से करते हैं।
Sports World Cup as a whole.
Watchparty.
EDG and BBL do battle once again for a spot in the playoffs. On the call, it's Mitchman and Tom.
Well, there's been a lot of scores to be settled over the past couple of days, but this one piques my interest. Starting out on Lotus, you can see it as a decider. Last time, 18-16, a tight affair, a long affair, but feeling confident to start it out here. I think this is going to tell us everything we need to know. Comps are the same, as you heard. There's players like Lovers Rock who we expect to have that uptick. Looking back at last time, yes, Con was fantastic, but I loved seeing Chichu.
Yeah, I think Kreven has moved off the Vice and gone to Cypher, so that's
BBL
one
ने क्या
change
लिया?
that has
कौन सा
been
मैच?
made
Lotus.
going into this matchup, and an interesting one because we've seen Vice become incredibly popular.
And for him, it being a very strong agent, even on
Yeah.
this map.
ओह, इसने
So I
साइफर
think
लिया
it
है,
must just be
इसने वाइज
based
लिया।
on what
वाइज
happened
अच्छा
last
होता है
time
ना
around.
इसमें।
Maybe going to try and, well, when you've got two players that can go over your utility, maybe you're going to try and switch things up, have some interesting trips, some reveals that might be able to help you catch on the way, or it could just be the aggression on the defensive side. Like, you know your opponent's going to be pushing, you want to have a little bit more safety around. I don't mind the change. Of course, they've now lost this twice in a row in overtime, so maybe just thinking a small change, which I do think this will be, might help them out a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things now, as you think about what Cypher's going to give you, it's going to give you this information throughout the round. That's a big advantage to have as you look at EDG, for example. Last time, you go up to the Vice wall on B, they're bursting through. They're playing it quite aggressive, quite quick when they do take those hits. And sometimes BBL were a little bit caught off guard by those late round plays by lurkers. Now, Cypher camera going to be constantly there and much more intel with the 2 trips to play around. As you said, though, still a possibility for them to go up and over. But we've seen before, as you see here, some trips are going to be up in the air for that exact purpose. It's time to kick things off. BBL and EDG, barriers up on map number 1. BBL choosing to come back to a map that has seen losses for them recently, but they always put up a fight. This time, it'll have to be one step further. Well, yeah. EDG come back for revenge.
It's going to be an interesting one. Like, BBL have been picking this map time and time again while not getting the victories. Of course, they've been incredibly close, and I think you might look back to their game on this map versus EDG and consider it a choke. But then I look from the EDG side and go, okay, Signed has been getting more and more comfortable. In the game versus RRQ, they moved him off some of more of the aggressive duelist style roles and put him back into smokes. So I think both teams, in essence, may come in a little bit stronger after building into the tournament. For now, it's a trade of damage, a trade of health, and everybody's still standing. Gianni taking a lot of space, but it seems like BBL are more than happy to play retake in this scenario.
Certainly looks like it. Still waiting at the gates. Now the forces are all here. Chichu very low. Con in the same boat. A few traded blows for BBL will bring them back into this round, but they still a lot of players to run from position. Not so much anymore. Con left alone with a sliver of health. A monumental task in front of him, and no chance, says Kreven. 1-0 for BBL.
Yeah, I like that. A little bit more tempered from the defense. Like, a lot of the time we have seen some all-in gambly plays from individuals. So the fact that early in this game they're sitting back, playing the retake, forcing people out of angles, and also just working off some of the already confirmed damage. Of course, it is a pistol round, and I believe last time out, even with the OT defeat, they did still win both pistols. So it showed that at least in a lot of the buy rounds, EDG, in this map at least, were the better side. So I think still getting those strong starts is going to be important for BBL.
Yeah, without a doubt. Kreven on the swap over as well. As we said, I think that's going to be the most interesting part when you see those little changes for BBL. There's clearly seeing that Vice wasn't giving them something that Cypher is. I do imagine it's a lot of that punishability on the deep dives and the constant information. Lovers Rock's got all the intel he needs, gets out, taps a shot through and does some damage. But the pistols are at the gates. BBL rotating in, a third player now ready and waiting for this play. Seas goes in for Rose. Kreven's trying to find some space around, being quite cautious until the jump up top. It's going to leave at least one rifle. on the ground for the time being, and with damage done by EDG, this is starting to get a little spooky. Luckily, IGL Rose, the top fragger of the last map, comes through for 3, but again, sporting bruises, nobody's got a chance. And even then, leaving 2 alive, that's a success for EDG, a great second round.
Shot.
Yeah, that is genuinely a hell of a lot of damage in a round that was nothing invested.
There were 4 players from the defense there as well. Like I said, 3 because Rose, but the other player was in water rotating back, so it was essentially a 4-man hold against Pistols, and they brought it to a 1v2. That's great.
Yeah, good work from them. Of course, you can still see that for the BBL side, they're happy with whatever round they get over the line. They're not really too worried about the damage. I do feel like going back to even the last series when they played against 100 Thieves, they're very good with the pistols. They actually build into things. So I still think they have to be a bit careful here. Gianni may have just learned that very early on in the last series of Lotus. He was fantastic playing this Raze. It definitely made it work on the duelist rather than on smokes in the latter couple of maps. And that's a change I'm hoping to see when going forward into the next one, him continuing to be on more aggressive roles. The question is, though, can those weaker weapons on the BBL side still do damage? Well, maybe they won't need to already. Lover's Rock with a second. Kreven lurking in the darkness has managed to add a third. This is a buy that had 2 Guardians and the rest were pistols, and they might just win it flawlessly. Only Kankan stands between BBL and a bonus round conversion. A costly last round, but they do have to be careful. They can't continue to give this man of any too many individual fights, and a third already added to the tally.
Crazy, bro.
They know exactly where he is, but they have done for the previous 3. The last 2 of LaRock and Kreven are going to try and come together. They're going to try and play this a little bit smarter because they've given him so many opportunities, and so he still finds one more. Into the final. Kankan almost just pulled off the play of the tournament, but he was shut down at the last second.
Good.
What an attempt by Kankan.
Right.
Reason to never give up. Shown plain and clear right there. This for BBL, I like the idea. Punish the C aggression right away. Leave the Cypher utility as the lighter side over on A. And everything worked until Kankan stepped into their sightlines.
क्राउच करके बैठ गया एक ऊपर खड़ा है इसने ऊपर वाले को मार दिया क्राउच वाले को नहीं मारा फिर अपना स्लैश करके उधर गया ना डैश मार के तो उसको एम का ऊपर नीचे थोड़ा सा वैसा नहीं भाई ये मार सकता था अच्छा लगा
Both traps have already been spotted. It really is on Kankan, and with the trap catching him, there is no remaining hope. 4-0 for BBL, a swift end round.
Yeah, I think it had to be a right-click usage of the knives for the first kill, and then the weapon wasn't able to be found by Kankan. A much cleaner response, and I do look at this from Kreven, and even part of me goes, maybe it is just comfort. Like, if they're just getting past all of my utility, I'm gonna just be fighting with nothing. So if I now switch up to a completely different agent with different utility that can give me opportunities, well, he's currently 7-1, so he's had a great start to the game on the C site, and he can just maneuver these trips every single time, although I believe that's the same as last round.
Well, last round towards the C side. The one before it was swapped up to A. It's going to keep BBL guessing a little bit. And now he starts with the more aggressive trip up close. Has to take it back as the nade comes in. And now it is the same old setup right back before. But a bit of a difference in LaRock. One away from a showstopper. And he is pushing his way up, containing them now towards this site. Rotation from Rose coming through. Nightfall will be there. If EDG wait a little bit longer, BBL will have a lot more to play with. And already there is going to be a problem as they start. I think almost trying to bait out a trip. Draft dash backwards. Wasn't caught. Now deeper in. Still that utility to deal with. And the Nightfall causing problems. They can't hear. They're H4 and Kreven wrapping around. Drops the spike. Now around all the way from B. But LaRock Kreven is off to a belter at the start of this map.
You are seeing the differences. Now, one of the major problems that you have with Vice is first you can bait the wall.
Yep.
If it's up close.
Last time.
And then also, if you have a nade, you can destroy some of those vines immediately. So it puts you in a position where all of your utility's gone and, okay, you have a pop flash now. Yep. That's not ideal. In these circumstances, they're being delayed He's even pulling back and putting back down utility, which you can't do otherwise, and basically making it very, very awkward for them on entry and surviving. 10-1. They've pushed his site in back-to-back rounds, and Kreven has not died. Kankan now going to be in with a hero rifle. Gianni with a showstopper. It's not been the hot start he would have wanted, and well, that hero rifle is already on the ground.
The slide in, pass signs. He thought he had them contained there, a chance to punish, but it's not going to land.
Oh.
Showstopper won't either for damage, sure.
Oh,
Lloyd is down
man.
to 17 HP.
What a dodge, man.
Still drawing breath. As now the flank, they'll become aware of it with the wall going up, but for EDG, they feel surrounded. The Seeker should give them direction to push towards spawn. They hope there's only one player there, but Rose is helping out alongside. Nade on the back of the seas. It'll get around the corner. That's a big problem for nobody. He won't be surviving that with the shot from Lover's Rock. Now it's only 2 left. Now it's only 1 in the form of Jenny. He at least finds the first and has the nade. That could delay, buy him a little bit more time, but there's too many bodies. And Kreven keeps on hitting. 6-0 now for BBL, and well, the changes have clearly
BBL playing so
even if it is just on an individual level for Kreven, I don't know what it is about locking in the Cypher, but he just is playing an unbelievable game. But it must be infuriating in this one, because there was a lot of maybe unconfirmed damage, at least initially, but 2 players that were desperately low that they weren't quite able to convert on, and I think 2 players making sure that Signed couldn't get any further was a problem, and clearly a problem that EDG looked to try and deal with. A pause at 6-0 down. Now I will say,
6-0
normally at 6-0 down, I talk about death sentences. You're basically trying to recover the half. G2 yesterday made me start to question if it matters as much as I think it does, because they managed to bring a 6-0 deficit to a 7-5 defeat on the half. Yeah. Obviously you can't get 7 if the others have got 6. But realistically, they then went on to win that map quite handedly. So a pause here could turn the tide, but I'm definitely feeling nervous for EDG.
Look back to yesterday in Gentlemates, Tom. We looked across at what was our B-Stream stage, our second stage, and we said, well, that one's going to be over pretty soon. Was it 12-1? Well, things turned around over in that game as well. There was always a way back in. So far for EDG, the problem, they're fighting shadows in the mist in the form of this utility. We saw 2 rounds ago, they throw the nade in towards C main to remove the trip. Kreven repositions it. Yeah. They updraft and dash backwards and attempt to bait out that first trip. It's not there. Already so much utility committed, and all the while, BBL are rotating in because it's becoming pretty clear that they want to take space there, or at least remove the util. Now that pause, I'm hopeful will change things. They've had trouble dealing with this setup so far, but now they've had time to think. And that's where EDG can be most dangerous. Nop, though, in the hands of Lover's Rock, could unravel even the most well-laid plans, and it's not just him. BBL are looking to crunch towards A main. It seems like, again, the defense has the read, and the Cypher cam on C main, along with Kreven covering off B, is exactly why the Cypher is giving them all that intel that they wanted.
They're putting the pressure on, though. Oh, he was stuck in a corner. They knew he was there, but even still, no shot. He's TP'd up there. Okay, that's mental. Rose will immediately trade, however, and in fact, he'll get both. I guess it doesn't matter. And this is the scariest thing when you're up against BBL. Sometimes, when they're confident, they do ridiculous, overzealous things, and other times they do that and it works. That one didn't.
That was stupid. That's crazy to TP in there. What did he think? Okay, maybe I'm missing some piece of utility that was thrown in. No, there's a Prowler Saw guy there. What are we doing? He's a madman.
Maybe he thought Rose was a little bit further forward and that he could then immediately be traded. He wasn't, but...
Yeah, maybe he can't read the minimap. That's a good excuse. Lost in the moment.
Or maybe he was 2 and 3 and just went, I need to even up.
I need a kill, mate.
I need a kill.
Laroc's taking them all again. I got to get in there. Well, 7-0 start for EDG. Again, that read from BBL, the camera in C main, the player covering off B, and the slow approach of EDG, it dug their own grave. Now they're left onto pistols. And a 7-0 start likely to turn into 8, but they've got a lot of pistols. They've got some ultimates to play with. In particular, if Sign can get into a good position, remove weapons on a retake, that could be huge. And they are moving towards the place where there's only one man holding. The problem is that one man is Lover's Rock. He'll get out quickly, and he's going back in for another. That big ulti.
Sign gone.
Oh,
Okay.
Big.
Nice blast packs from
nice
Jenny.
cover,
A
bro.
decent position from Chichu,
Shot
but
to
he ends up
Hawaii.
shut down. Last time they played this map, he was an unstoppable force that they had to deal with. And as of right now, yet to really show up to the party. An opportunity, though. Kankan has been given an operator. The one glimmer of hope in this map so far
Plant करते
was
हैं
him
क्या?
in that 1v5, which almost got
3v
them their first round.
4.
This he's going to hope will be the case. A nice flash to set him up. They are
Good
putting all
one,
their
good
eggs
one.
in one basket. Can Kankan win them the
Uh,
round? Well, his teammate and nobody's already gone, but he still stands with the operator. A missed shot lets them get a little bit closer, and in fact, with one bullet left, there is no chance he's able to correct. Kreven is 14-1, still going, still only a singular death. And well, that is a reason why there is not a round on the board yet for EDG.
Yeah, Kreven is the star of the show right now. I thought the second they put an operator into the hands of
EDG on
Kankan,
top.
well, we have made a big mistake here. But they managed to recover. Kreven
And
even manages to stare Medusa in the eyes and walk away unscathed. An unbelievable performance for him. One simple agent switch, and he is looking so
Who
bloody
are you,
comfortable
bro?
playing behind his utility instead of having to watch it all be destroyed and dissipated. 8-0 as EDG come back in with another buy.
Who are you, bro?
The ult from Signed and a much more direct approach. The slow play has left BBL with all the info to work with. And so instead, they're going to pick up the pace.
Now the problem is this C site thus far has been a nightmare.
अच्छी मेल
The Rock actually taking a little
अरे
bit of
भेजता
damage
रे
through
तेरे
the
को अबे
ball.
साले तू
Instead,
मॉड की गाली
he
निकाल
comes
रहा है
back and gets rid of nobody. Cage is up.
बाकी मॉड से मैं
This
क्या
time,
करूंगा भाई
the weaponry is going to be removed. A faster pace take. Loiter was trying to escape with his ultimate. The showstopper on the other
अरे
side has a
मेरी
chance for a double, but it's only one.
फॉरवर्ड
An advantage for the first time in a while. Kreven also down, but
आ
Rose
अरे एक्चुअली में मैं
already
क्या है
brings them
फंक्शन में
down.
गया था मेरे भाई की शादी है ना
Ults being
इसलिए
popped on either side.
आज
Rose will deal with
उसकी
Kankan.
बारात है तो
Gianni now has
मैंने
to
कहा
try and
रेस्ट ले
find one of
रखा
them with
है
the ult, and he will
प्रीमियर
manage to do so.
खेलेगा
Because
यार
Rock
जो
was already past it.
आज
Dexter
नहीं
needing
खेल
a
पाऊंगा
close
प्रीमियर
operator shot miss, but
फोकस
he will
करने दे
deal
मैच
with
में
Rose. And then round the corner comes Lover's Rock. It's a nice try from Gianni.
भाई
But
बीबीएल तो
still,
भाई
they can't
खतरनाक
find a
खेल रही है
round.
Excellent C's coming out of Rose. This looked like the round EDG would finally put on the board. And previously, it's been all about the game plan. Everything has worked
Right.
for BBL. They've had the info. They've had the right people in the right place in almost every single round. This time it was different. EDG had the upper hand.
Yes,
They had
sir.
the sight. Time ticking in their favor. But a few shots from BBL, and as I said, a very well-placed C's coming out of Rose as Kankan looked to take him down, to pressure that IGL. He ended up in an uncomfortable position and couldn't quite get back out. The spam from Rose, putting
क्वालिटी लो
9
लग रहा
on the
है
board. BBL.
क्वालिटी लो नहीं है भाई इतना ही
This
है
map we
उनके
wouldn't
एंड से
question
जितना मेरे
why
को
they
मिला है
chose it,
मैंने उतना ही
considering
लगा
what we
रखा हूँ
saw
भाई
last time. An incredibly long and labored series, or map
क्वालिटी
rather.
Two
लो है
times.
Indeed, but up against EDG
भाई
at this
180 भी तो चल
exact
रहा है
moment. And then since then, it didn't look like things had changed. We questioned why they
ये देख
choose it. And they've come in
ऑटो कर
today with
देते हैं अपन
answers.
For EDG, now running out of runway. Of course, they came into this tournament with one of their star players missing. It's no doubt that it was going to be difficult, but last time out they showed that they could compete even with that stand-in. Today has looked different though.
चल
Into
बता
the B side they go again, and into the hands of
केरोस
Kreven.
बता
Rose.
ये कौन
In fact,
जीतेगा
Rose is running forward just to support Loiter. This is a slaughter. The last man
अरे
standing
अरे
will
अरे
be
क्वालिटी
signed.
क्वालिटी
Another
अरे
attempt at a 1v5. It's the closest rounds they've had. It's the closest rounds they've had so far. But with 5 HP and a man behind, it is a few consolation frags and double
भाई
digits hit before a
क्या खेल
singular
रहे बे
round goes the other way.
You've got to take your hat off to
फटाफट
Sign there. What an attempt that was in the 3K.
Nice
But
shots.
again, it's the plan from BBL. We're back to the same old thing. The Cypher setup on site works. Cage up, leaves Jenny in a 1v1 while he's midair. Kreven takes that kill every day of the week. But more importantly, 3 players on site, 1 sitting outside B and 1 fully pushed up on A. Those were the positions when EDG pushed. They're being read. This attack side is predictable for BBL, or has been so far. And we've almost already run out of time. 2 rounds left to play for. And Chichu Gonna try
ये
to find the
flank आ
seam
रही
here and pull on the
है
thread. He's gone for the TP towards the stairs.
वो
Nobody's
इन तो
home.
अंदर आ गए
BBL playing a bit more passive, falling back. Lloyd is going to be on that backside
ना हो
with
रहा
plenty of
ना
support. And again,
मार
boots on
दिया
the
भाई
ground, but 4 players here for BBL. They are ready every single time,
3v4
and this one will be no different.
3v2
Chichu, though,
v2
a lifeline with that
2v2
pick. They might even get the plant
2v2 है
entries.
गाइस EDG का क्या
He's
आगे से
tagged up low.
अरे अरे ऐसे होगा
Sign
तुम
trying
बोल
to bait them into a fight, and he's done so, but Kreven just isn't losing any fights
ओ
today. He is the
BBL
unkillable
भाई क्या
final
स्मूथ मार
boss
रही
of
है इनको
BBL. I think he's only had 2 deaths in the entirety of this map, and it's not like he's just been AFK hiding in a corner. I think that might have been his 16th
check
kill of the game,
we
maybe
have
even more. I genuinely have lost count.
You know, sometimes we see Kraven have those slower starts, those shakier games, and then sometimes I'm reminded of the man I
स्मूथ
came up
तो है
against
भाई
in a DM and was certain was cheating. This
गाइस
this
इफ
makes
यू वांट
complete sense. 7
कोई भी अगर सुपर चैट करना चाहता है
3
मेरी यूपीआई
up
आईडी
against
मेंशन्ड है
EDG
नाइट
as
वर्ड के
well.
द्वारा आ चुकी है
Considering
यूपीआई
how it
कर
went
सकते हो मेरे
last
को
time
सुपर
around
चैट
for BBL, well,
बीबीएल
those
विल
OTs are
विन
looking very unlikely
यस
at
सर
this stage.
क्या
It's
पता
been a dominant
सेकंड
show.
राउंड में ईडीजी
Concon
कमबैक
stepping
कर
up
दे
to the plate
सेकंड
for
गेम में
one,
मैप में
but only one as Loida shuts him down. And it's left assigned 1 against 3. Last time he was in a clutch, he got 3 before going down.
Doesn't have the spike.
That's a big problem.
All he can do is try and completely play with their heads. But just look at the position that Lovers Rock is locked into already. It's not like this is a ruse or
1v3
something
है
that
भाई
can
कर पाएगा ये
catch them off guard. It's such a locked-in angle for the spike to be that there's always going to be someone. The good thing is he's got an opportunity, but he'd have to be lightning fast to get anywhere near, and it is not to be the case.
भाई
A
12-0
12-0 half for BBL. Whether you had questions about the stand-in or whether you question whether or not BBL could just come in and completely change how this map went last time around, I don't think there's anybody on earth who thought this would be a 12-0 half.
No, you know, even with changes, with BBL picking it again, you want to think that they've got some solutions, but not that they've completely cracked the code. The most impressive part about this is even in the moments where EDG played fast, it felt like BBL were rotating ahead of them. I genuinely can think of, off the top of my head, 1 round where BBL didn't have at least 3 players on the site that was being hit, which,
भाई
if it's a
अच्छा खेल
site,
रही है
that's
बीबीएल अच्छा
impressive.
खेल रही है
This map has 3 sites.
Yeah.
That's even more impressive.
I also
and usually there
can't-
was one ready to crunch through on the other side as well.
I can't think of a moment where EDG stepped on the B side other than the 1 kill or 1 attempted kill from Chichu in an eco round.
There was a B side. Remember they used the nade last second from Jenny to try to cancel, but he swung with it was an eco
That
round.
is
though.
true.
So
That
there was
is
a
true.
single one, but I think that was also a fallback from the A main, if I'm not
guys
mistaken.
one
But it definitely did feel like for EDG, perhaps playing the default, perhaps exploring the map and removing some of that information was the way to go. They decided to play more direct, which also makes sense. They've got information, they're rotating ahead of us. Let's go more direct. Let's get ahead of those rotations. And yet they couldn't. And that's so impressive. But it also speaks to how BBL play this defensive side. Aggression right off the bat. Why were there 4 players or 3 towards the C site with 1 outside B ready to swing on the door? Because Lovers Rock had ran up A. He saw no utility, no nades, nothing. And after a couple seconds, he said, okay, I'm going into your spawn. And he's there on the Neon in a matter of seconds. They have the information. And when they go the other way, the Cypher utility gets the info instead. Kraven fills in B, 4 players on the A side. This has been a tough play for EDG.
Well, and it's safe to say this tournament is starting to feel a little bit cursed for them in general. Last year in the group of death,
Yeah.
only taking 2 defeats to Gen G, who went all the way to top players.
Oh, EDG come in here, 4 pistols. It's a confident buy, and well, listen, if they're going to make 12 rounds in a row, they got to start it that way. For individuals to show up, that's all I want to see, because the comeback, although Gentlemates might let this one slip, I'm not sure about BBL.
Last
They don't
round
have
भाई
that kind of history.
क्या हो सकता है पता
To
नहीं
swing out on the back from Concon. He's being spotted, he's being blinded, he's being named,
Oh.
he's being shot, he is dead. And EDG end up in a 4 versus 4 with the plant coming through from BBL, and they're looking to fight. Of course they are. Most teams would sit back, but that is not
3v3
BBL style.
3v3
Trading
anyone
blows, though. Sends
Pushing
BBL fleeing.
Swarm with Spike.
Yeah, they're going to take this to the B, the C site, but that's if they can get past Jenny.
It seems like
A
they know
side
they've
पे
been boxed in.
ये रोटेट मार रहे हैं
Jenny
बैक से पीवीएल वाले
definitely has a good idea, but they're not
अभी
even
ऊपर
going
से
for it.
रोटेट मार रहे हैं
He's gone all the way around
भाई
the other side of the
क्या
map, the
उल्टा खेल
seaside, but the
रहे हैं
defenders have also gone, well, okay, it's a little bit too quiet on this side, and because of that, the plant position is actually a bit of a problem. Back to the spawn, Rose needs to go.
ये
The
किसी
flank
तरह की
is
साइड
now
पे
being
They
लगा
didn't hear each
watched.
other
They're
step.
ready for the move, but it's going to be the shot coming out on the other side. A chance to stop
1v3
the 13-0.
लुइटा
And Loiter,
BBL का
who hasn't
लुइटा
had to
बचा
do a whole lot this game,
इनका
with a chance to clutch.
चिको जीनी
Oh, surely not. You think
Fine.
the pistol round could at least be the safe haven?
Nobody तो गया
The safe protocol for this squad, but Loida, he's brought it
Loida.
to 1v1. A single point of help for EDG to avoid the
Oh.
13-0.
Finally.
Will do it. Chichu
He's laughing.
saves the round and saves some face for EDG at least.
It's unusual that you see Lloyd to have a quiet game, but the fact he almost 1v3s to 13-0 is a crazy way that this game could have ended. Instead, oh, they're not going to be joining the club. Sorry, Mixwell. I know you had that tweet locked and loaded and ready to go. Instead,
आया बंदों को
we'll see
कॉन्फिडेंस
them
तो
now
आया
come in with investment. Of course, it's going to be everything. They're not going to
Hey,
go for
what
any
is
pistols
this,
or anything
man?
at this point. They're looking to try and mirror the scoreboard of the last with 12 rounds in a row. And hey, it starts with one.
That it does, and it usually ends with a much lower number than 14. They'll need to go there to OT. Con. It's a little bit shaky to start, and he's got him boxed in the corner. Okay, he'll deal with them eventually. Not before Lover's Rock is able to trade out. Now LaRock finds one.
पुश कर गया यार वो ज्यादा ही
Get a little bit nervous about this. There's another weapon to be recovered. There's still a Marshall. Up close is nobody. It has been a tough game for nobody so far. And a flash through. Doesn't follow up on it. It's the players pushing B instead as he draws their eye. But now he's a little surrounded. I almost want to see him fall back with that paranoia. He has to. He ran forward. They paranoid now themselves. Chichu gets one. Many players close. But is he happy with that? Has he done enough? It's a 2v2.
His teammate's coming.
And the wraparound is on the way. Nice work by Signed, and they will clean it up in the end. But danger averted, but only barely.
I'll be honest with you, like, at least some of the plays that Khan's making, I think he's just having fun with this.
Yeah.
I think they've looked at this and gone, yeah, 12 rounds in a row, probably not going to happen. I'm just going to go fight them in their spawn and see what will go through. I don't think that they were even considering the possibility of a 12-0 return on the other side. And you can see it in their faces. They're having a good time. They know their map choice is up next. For BBL, they've just got to make sure they don't get too far ahead of themselves. Of course, EDG investing everything back into this round does mean that as quote-unquote bonuses go, this is a relatively strong one. A couple of rifles, a judge, and an SMG. Realistically, all BBL need is one.
Well, EDG this time, the ones with the read, you might think. It seems a lot of players outside the C site. The spike was here moments ago, but now it's shifting back in the other direction. As EDG stand with 3 players on the C site, 1 sitting outside B, and that will be the one to be challenged. You know, perhaps not. No, they're going all the way around. It's a very slow early round. It's very uncharacteristic for BBL to not even look for a scrap at this point of the game, but I think they want to close this out while it's still in dominant fashion. Stop EDG from building up that little bit of momentum towards the end of the game. It will be
nice.
I said it'd be a tough game for him, but that's a bloody nice shot.
Hey, he's still got it. There's no doubt about it.
Oh,
Lover's Rock quickly able to trade, and the rotation just isn't there. The position though of Gianni, he's got to get his gun out.
It's the worst gun for it.
The trip's offline, so we can actually catch them on the cross, but unlucky to not get Rose. 8 HP. TP past the wall. Sign left blinded. He's trying to deny them, but instead he ends up being caught. Him staying alive with the wall might have even been enough to potentially change the round. Instead, Chichu's going to try and maybe even run in and deny the plant, but he's too late. And LaRock's now caught him through the smoke. It's down to Khan again to keep them alive. And he's got rid of
पेड़ तो लो है नियॉन को मार दे भाई
Rose is pretty low. He almost pulled off a 1v5 earlier in the day. This
Good,
one doesn't
good,
seem
good,
so
good, good, good.
difficult, especially with Rose so desperately low. A chance to catch him through the wall. Just needs a singular bullet to connect, but Rose is now
अरे
hiding
left
behind the
right
pillar,
बिल्कुल
not
यार.
wanting to give his opponent anything, just trying to work off the time. Doesn't even care about anything else. It's ring around to Rose. He's gone all the way around behind him. He's just trying to wrap around him well. It
Bro,
may be a
क्या
little
छुपा
bit
भाई वो.
closer, but I think Karkar has got this one at least.
Yeah, BBL though, giving them a lot of respect. This isn't just a round gifted to EDG. For BBL, they played this incredibly slow. They tried to push and pull the map. That rotation, again, great work from Jenny.
लगता है वो
Considering he
ये
had the
comeback मार
jungle,
देंगे यहाँ
almost
से.
expected him to just stay tucked,
भाई
but he
सोचो यार
almost
ये
gets away with a kill. And that
12
HP
0.
definitely made a difference in
Okay.
that 1v1 in the end. So it was good
अभी
work to
3
at
हो
least
गए.
get that damage.
12 और 12 हो रहा है ना.
Information
भाई
for those early
crazy नहीं हो
round
जाएगा
takes
थोड़ा.
back. And yes, Sign might not have won the fight, but he kept him in position long enough. Cheech, you could follow up.
Sometimes all you have to do is give Kankan a chance. That's all you have to do. Like,
if he's on your team.
You give him a... Yeah. On the other
probably
team,
should.
do your best not to give him a chance, but that doesn't always work. 3 rounds, 25% of the way there. Doesn't sound so bad.
Yeah, listen, it's EDG finding the seam. They pull on the right thread, maybe it all unravels for BBL, but seems like a tall tale for the time being. 9 in a row needed. Chichu down in a trade to start this out. Great work from and Jenny as well.
भाई
A
क्या
2K
sweep
for them
पर
each,
भाई
and
मस्त
4
मारा
for
रे.
EDG now relatively clean as
Damn,
well. Only
damn,
1 player
man.
lost.
Yeah,
As I said, for me, like 8 more rounds in a row, too big of a task. It's possible, but unfeasible. But all we need to see is them pick up that momentum to start to feel like they're not just leagues below this squad.
I think like warming up into their own map choice is going to be very important. I think we've already seen that throughout this tournament so far with some pretty devastating defeats and then managing to turn it around. I think even look at BBL in their last series versus 100 Thieves, dominated map 2, still lost map 3. Like as long as their opponents felt like they were in it. But it does seem like the beasts from the east are now awake. And they're enjoying themselves while they do it. Some nice shots being connected by nobody as well. Gianni waking up, and you could see from the BBL side that this is now not haha, hee funny. They need to take a attack pause to make sure that this one doesn't get out of control. Maybe even learning from the mates yesterday that, okay, we want to get ahead of this because the more EDG warm up, yeah, sure. 8 rounds in a row is still incredibly difficult to do, even just considering ult cycles. But if there was a team with the caliber of player that could do it, it is EDG.
And plenty more teams I'd put below that caliber have done it here at this event. So for EDG, give them a chance. They will, well, they'll do their best to claim it. BBL, though, I think from the point of 12-2, you've seen that they're playing a tight game. They don't want EDG to get back into this. They believe it's possible, as they should. Kreven with the lurk has caught nobody. That's a big gap. Showstopper put through. Jenny's caught his head on the door, and he's a little slow, and the follow-up paranoia lands, but a shot from Kankan. It's not just one man pushing. No, this is a strategy from EDG. They're putting the pressure on from both sides. He's got his knife out. Oh, it's a big mistake. Kankan falls. And even with that great pick from Signed, it's a 3 versus 2. Spike on its way to C, and well,
hello.
Yeah, well, you get the info at least.
But this
no early flank.
Because Signed was spotted on the other side of the map, that was the immediate call from Loiter that, okay, I can now TP into the back of that site, past all of his utility. It's a gap that was exploited. And now the remaining 2 players of EDG look to fight for survival once again in map number 1. In the decider matchup, one team goes through to the playoffs, the other team will be eliminated. Signed maybe a little bit ahead of where BBL expected them to be. Good paranoia with the trade. Immediate onto it and a lot of damage being done, but it will not be enough. A stellar first half out of BBL. And an incredible turnaround after playing this map twice in the last few days, losing both occasions. They have come back versus one of those teams and had a 12-0 defensive half, and they managed to get the job done on attack. The man on your screen, Kreven, was one of the big parts of that. An incredible C-site hold with the swap to the Cypher. Of course, with EDG, It will be their map choice coming up next, and they need to bounce back.
I mean, Kraven was holding C and B practically every round. They came direct, they came slow, they tried to push and pull, but nothing worked against BBL. The info game here on Lotus looking leagues better than before, and any past problems will be left there. Now, it's time to see if they can close the series or if EDG can dig deep and bounce back in the reverse sweep. Before that, though, back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Mitch. And yes, EDG's staving off being on the wrong side of history, but it's just a consolation prize to get those 4 rounds on attack or on defense to try and make the scoreline look competitive, because it was 12-0 and we were frantically looking
OTs, where you feel like, oh, we should have won. If only I'd done this. Those kind of things can get in your head a bit more. I think a 13-0 is definitely a little bit more like, oh, like, there's kind of nothing we could do there. They were firing, our game plan was wrong, whatever it is. It's sort of one big mistake instead of 1,000 tiny mistakes. So I think in theory, it's not super hard for them to just slide this one to one side and go, okay, we had the wrong idea here. But now we're moving to our map pick. Now we're moving to Breeze where we've looked good. So I think they'll be okay. I just think it's all about that short-term memory. Ultimately, you have to just put that out of your minds, not care what happened. And, you know, it wasn't quite the 13-0. So I do think that helps a little bit. There isn't the shame of a Mixwell tweet being fired your way and knowing that it was ultimately as bad as it can get. But I think they'll be fine. EDG are a composed enough team also. We know that they've been to big stages. We know that they've lost map ones before. So I have full faith that they will be okay heading into this map too.
We've had already some very devastating results here in EWC. Sometimes it means that the second map is only going to be a repetition. But in most of the occasions, I say that teams are able, as you're saying, to bounce back mentally from that. Sometimes players go on the map and they're just low. The question is now, is BBL able to replicate that on Breeze? As I was saying at the beginning of the year, to me it was all about their Breeze. It's very similar to what we just saw here on Lotus. Of course, it doesn't have 3 sides, but I will be playing literally what they were playing at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I want to find where the star of power is going to come from, not in terms of name, but in terms of performance to match Rock, who has been an MVP candidate despite not even making it to, we're not in playoffs yet. But
we have to have that conversation, especially when we, after these 2 days and after the daybreak that we have when we jump into playoffs, we need to start speaking about those real serious candidates. But LaRock was amazing. And even though on that Lotus where, you know, some of these clutchy rounds that we were speaking, like the Kraven, the Loita, even if his name wasn't there, when you look at the scoreboard and you're like, overall on the impact that he had throughout the game, yes, it was still there. It was still leading the charts. Sure. And it's just incredibly reliable that I don't think that this happens. Like, yes, you can have a good tournament and it will be like, you know, in most of the matches you will have a good performance, but in all of them? In all of them? Seriously?
It does start to get a little bit crazy for LaRock with the numbers that he is putting up. I mean, it's hard for me to bet against them after map 1.
Hi, brother. How are you?
Cast your mind back to that split that they played in their previous series. It was a 13-3, even more dominant than this first map was on paper, and they still lost out that series. So want to see them have that composure, want to see them carry that momentum from map to map, because if they're able to heat up like they did there on Lotus, this Breeze will become enormously tricky.
All of them?
Yeah, let's dive into Agent Select, as Breeze is EDG's map pick, and they're hoping it goes the same way that it did for BBL's own map pick, but they can get something going here.
Yeah, okay, so for EDG, this is more or less the same comp, but there is a little change here. When we saw EDG play against RRQ, Kang was on the Jet. He's now across onto the Neon. So I wonder, how do they feel like this is going to be able to stop BBL? Because I think Kang's Jet is fantastic.
I think it's more about creating the situations. We saw it from G2, we've seen it from other teams. You put on the KO plus the Neon, you already have the Viper, and you add on a Harbor. So you have so many walls to put up on your opponent's face, and of course the flashes to be comboing with that, and you have nobody on the Soba that also combos this perfectly. This is a perfect harmony of agents to be playing here on Breeze.
Yeah, no stream को like and subscribe करो. Quite a bit on this map.
Or मेरा UPI.
It's going to be hard to break through all those walls that you're talking about. That, you know, it does feel like a very targeted change to put BBL on the back foot, especially when the EDG are coming in for the retakes with that Harbor. That's what I want to see. No fighting on the side. Have some discipline.
उस पे आप super chat भी कर सकते हो if you want.
Will BBL qualify yet another EMEA squad into the playoffs, or can EDG force that final map number 3? Let's find out as we send it back on over to Mitch and Tom.
Thank you, my darling Dagon. BBL versus EDG, map number 2. And after the first one, I don't know what to expect. BBL came in on a belter. I haven't seen Kraven with that strong of a start, and he continued it in quite a while. And for EDG, the bounce back is what they're looking for here. That last map was tough, but the second half, they were competing in. They woke back up, and I think BBL's setup was really the crux. This wasn't the BBL or a better team, but they had the better approach. Now it's onto EDG's map pick.
Oh, wow.
And it started out with Jenny's instant death.
Yeah, he was trying to walk up outside of B, and they were just ready and watching for it. It
Breach.
seems like the defenders had a goal to get aggressive,
BBL.
and their goal is currently, well, it's looking like an own goal at
BBL.
this stage.
ये 2 डाउन किए इनके
They have already been
EDG
shut
वालों
down
के
early, the remaining 2 players having to just try and piece the puzzle back together, but well, it's looking like there's a big hole in the middle at this point.
Tom, when was the last time you saw BBL in absolutely any round with 5 players alive, sitting in their spawn with a minute left?
3v2 है but 2v2
I
है
can't think of when that was. I'm not sure it's ever happened before. They're on a level of locked in that you don't usually get to see. Because
भाई
normally they want to
EDG
come
क्या
out
होगा
and disrespect
भाई
at least to start. But we saw it at the end of
इसके
Lotus.
नीचे
As I
भाई
said,
तेरे
they're
नीचे
at 12-2.
हाँ
There's an
चलो
immediate sign that these
3v4
guys, they're playing like they
1v4
can
I mean
still lose this game.
Well, Chichu's having a good time. He's got his little gloves on, and he's punching the body of Rose.
प्लस कर
So
पाएगा ये
still giving it, that's for sure. But Larocque has shot him down immediately. Another pistol round under the
गाइस जितने भी
belts
लोग टिकट स्ट्रीम को लाइक
for
एंड सब्सक्राइब
BBL
कर
to
दो भाई
start off
प्लीज
this first half. And I kind of want to talk about these 2 teams on this map in general. Of course,
और
I liked this map last time
यूपीआई
out versus
पिंड है मेरा
RQ for the
वहाँ पे आप
side
सुपर चैट भी कर सकते हो
of
मेरे को
EDG, because I feel like the
और आपका
roles
कोई भी
made a little
क्वेश्चन है
bit
वो
more
भी पूछ
sense. You
सकते हो
had that sort of more
सुपर
passive
चैट के थ्रू
harbor for Signed. They gave the KO to Gianni, moving him off of smokes and allowing him to be a little bit more proactive, more aggressive. And then on the other side of things, it does feel like this map is very hit and miss for BBL. Sometimes they look like they can utterly dominate a half, like versus Eternal Fire, where they just go 9-3
BBL
on
ने
the attack.
एक और निकाल
And
दिया
then the
इनका
next
स्क्वाड
time, sometimes players go missing and they can get bodied.
एक
So
खाली है
it
पूरा
is difficult
आराम
to tell
से
if this is going to end
कवर
up being a
लिस्ट
good
है
choice for
भाई
them. Of course, right now, I feel
yeah
like a lot of what they
मतलब
ended up
ही
doing in the last map was kind of back to basics, go to more of what was comfortable for them. And on this attack, almost moving as a bit of a death ball, even in just the first
वाइपर
couple of
ऊपर आ गई
rounds, that could be a pretty terrifying thing for EDG to have to react to.
We didn't know about the future of BBL after that first run. Their strengths were taken out of the game,
इधर ने एक और डाउन किया
weakened at least a little bit. We
नियन ने एक और
questioned,
डाउन किया
will we even
2v4
see them at an international?
2v5
And
I mean
certainly people out there did. BBL were aware.
2v5 है
Well,
गाइस
there were lots of rumors of even player changes,
Yep.
because it was like,
all
okay,
the
can
good
Lovers Rock recover to the point where if he's not playing Yoro, he can actually play to a decent level? And I'll be honest, I think a lot of those were very, very harsh to saying that, oh, we're not going to give him any time to overcorrect.
really
Well,
One
there you
tap.
go.
No damage done. It
अच्छा
is a
BBL
strong
में सब
round for BBL.
अच्छा
And
है
again, what has alarm bells ringing in my head? Look how
Yeah.
slow they were on that take. They waited for the drone to go out. They pushed together. They were
ऐसा नहीं
spamming
होता
the
भाई
angles they
ये
hadn't cleared.
like
They waited for the reveal.
18
Deeper,
to
even with the advantages. And
16
BBL are
18
normally a team.
17
We've
8
seen it many times, especially
esports
off
में
the back
यही
of a
एज होती
dominant
है
win, that will come in and make mistakes because they usually don't get punished. And they give you a chance
max
to
age
fight back. Right
25
here,
26
BBL are playing tight in the first
इससे
two,
ज्यादा
but
एज
that
की
was just
खेलती
pistols
नहीं
for EDG.
Also,
This is the real
look at
round.
the
The
bonus.
rifles are out, and hopefully more than one kill will be on the board by the
फिर
end.
भी यार अच्छा खेल रहे हैं
but
भाई
this bonus round is incredibly
if they are
strong for
kids
BBL. They have come in with rifles on every
they
single
are playing
player.
so good man
The weakest weapon, well, it's arguable, is either the Outlaw, which, okay, will only be one shot to one player, but normally you might see an SMG or two. So they have got their credits in a very good spot. And for EDG, if the last map is anything to go by, it does feel imperative
बी पुश
that they
करेंगे
get
तो
on
वो
this
अकेला
board
है
early. Start
वाइपर मिड पे क्या बैठा है
put the pressure
ओकी ले
on
रहा है
for the Turkish
वाइपर आएगा
Titans.
नीचे
Well, already, nobody is going to spot things out. Doesn't have a lot of immediate support, so he's going to have to do a lot of this on his own, but he
good run
has. Already picking off Larocque, but the trade is immediate onto his teammate. Still, he holds the back line, but only for a second.
3v4
Fishing for those kills has worked out
अरे
so far, and now it looks to
भाई गार्डियन अच्छा
down on
चलाता है
the
लोहिता
advantages.
यार
Weapons
मतलब
recovered, and from a
BBL
strong bonus round to an
BBL छोड़ते
unbreakable
हैं
one with Jenny.
हाँ
Your last man
ओ
standing,
अच्छा
one under his belt, a solid start, good flash out of the
EDG से
smoke.
छोटे हैं
Spams
पर
might
भाई
have gotten him,
खेल
but
अच्छे
Lloyd
रहे
was
भाई
there first, playing
it's
anti-flash
just a number
behind the
bro
wall and finding 3-0.
अगर आप अच्छा
That
खेल रहे हो तो
round
भाई
now
एज
gets
फर्क ही
me
नहीं
even
पड़ता
more worried.
Lovers
BBL look
Rock
like they're
wasn't
having a lot of fun.
he wasn't happy with the quality of that fist pump. That's the biggest problem that BBL is having right now. Like, sorry, bro, you didn't fist
ऐसा
bump me
तू भी
well
मेरे से
enough at
छोटा
the
है
end
पर
of the
अच्छा
round.
खेलता है
That was a bonus round. And again, definitely not a good sign. They seem like they are going back to, as said, a lot more basics. You're always going to have problems, I think, especially on the defensive side when you're a team with a stand-in, because you have to try and make sure you have that same sort of synergy you normally have while not having the same sort of synergy that you normally have. So if an opponent could just fast-paced take into sites, which BBL are excellent at, it becomes incredibly difficult for EDG to react in the same sort of way. 3-0. Similar start to what we saw in the previous map. Of course, it was a 12-0 defensive side half for BBL, which they eventually closed out 13-4. This round, not a whole lot invested. A Bucky, SMG, few pistols, but expectations low.
Decent cove, but Lover's Rock was already ahead of it. The chance for the pistols to thrive normally in those choke points. Now it will have to be towards the site. The wall at least allows them close with a flash through, and that's a good pickup for Jenny. Concon's there as well, but the push is coming in on the other side of the map, and nobody's fallen without anything to say for it, anything to show for it. Now for BBL, puts them back into this 3v3. They're not happy though. No, this isn't the passive team that we've seen in those first three. It's aggression now out of LaRock. I think he's 5-0 at the moment, possibly more.
They check.
I mean, it was Lloyd. Sorry, LaRock's been slower, but of course he's delivering again in the corner. And perhaps it was seeing into the future, a fourth for him. On offer, he wins. Clean as can be for LaRock. Continue to streak rounds together in the early stages of this map.
Yeah, I will say, normally when they have a worse map of Breeze, it's because LaRock's not hitting.
EDG,
like, him on the Jet has been the sort of like
Lotus game हुआ था ना इनका, BBL और EDG previous match,
we're gonna lose. Like, that's kind of how this map has gone. There was
वहाँ पे BBL ने 12-0 पे खेला था.
I'm not expecting that to happen again. And the fact that we have Loiter, Lovers Rock, and LaRock all on 5 kills, 2 deaths between the 3 of them.
Lotus में भी अच्छा खेला था भाई
I want
इन्होंने.
to see a response. Now I want to see something from EDG to make me believe this is going to be a close series in the early fight. It's shaky and they're already gone. They're already dead and buried. Both Side and Jenny gone. Almost feels like an afterthought because there's going to be nobody left to lurk on.
2v5. A Hunter's Fury available for the post plant for Rose, and he is back in main, holding the flank. Speaking of which, look where Kreven is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He is a defender and slowly boxing them in. There is nothing for EDG to do to win this round, short of spin botting, I think. And with Chichu left alone, the save has to be the call, even then. Look how quickly Rose moves. Back towards the spawn, players on doors. Chichu's going to have to fight to keep this rifle. And he's got a battle brewing on absolutely every side. Good work to find too. Every kill here is an orb towards a Viper's Pit, and that will help massively in locking down these choke points. Even if he does go down here, considering they're not going to be in the best spot financially next round anyways, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But what may be is BBL show no signs of stopping. The other concerning thing is on the way into those sites now, that's a number of times signed, has been completely caught off guard. And I expect a pause out of EDG now. They need to restructure this because the pace, and it's not even that strange of a pace. Look,
the problem though is that you say that, but they've done the same thing on both sides of the map, and it doesn't matter who's been there, they've done the same thing.
There was nobody getting caught by the dash as well.
This is what I mean. I think BBL have figured out the code of how to beat a team in the stand-in, which is just group up as 5 or 4 in this case, and just hit them. Just hit them at pace, because you can't react. Like, you basically have to be trading evenly with the stand-in. And if not, like you saw with nobody on the other side, he's gambling and they're putting players elsewhere to try and figure out a fix, and then if he dies, you've lost the site. That's the problem. It's very, very difficult to have, especially on the defense, that same synergy you normally would, the same reactions you normally would. And as of right now, BBL are just going 4-1 or 5-0. Let's just go into one site, hit it as hard as we can, and until they stop us doing this, let's just keep doing it. And wow, look at the current scoreline. They haven't been able to stop them doing it. So that's why the pause has been called. That's why a timeout has been taken, because this is now panic stations for EDG. If it keeps going in this form for BBL, they'll be the 4th EMEA team out of 5 to make it to playoffs. And EDG will be out.
Beating a team a second time.
Yeah.
often the
EDG
hardest, but
का
for
last
BBL, it
map
seems like
है
they've
ये
stepped up in every facet.
जब
EDG,
EDG
as you said,
हाँ
call that
नहीं
timeout. 5-0 down, and they've been put under so much pressure early on in this defense. But BBL also changed their approach. This isn't going to be the push and pull. This isn't going to be the more direct plays. Instead, they're now going for a split. Mid is the space that's been left vastly open, looking to punish our EDG when BBL fight early for bottom mid. Instead, they bypass it, go tunnel, and now put the pressure on both sides. Chichu going to be caught with his back turn. He was worried about main, but not aware of the flank possibility. At least they know there's a kill on offer up close, but Concon's punished immediately, and it's a bit shaky for Larocque. 10-1 now, as he finds that extra kill. And I don't think Jenny's going to be pulled back into this round. No chance to res him on backside. Nobody's all alone. As if it's not bad enough to face against 4.
Oh,
The
फिर
Rock with
से
Blade Storm should make that even more
भाई ये
terrifying.
क्या
Pop the blades at a 4v1.
Yeah, it's a bit strange.
I guess I
1v4 हो गया भाई
kind of
बचा भाई 1v4 कर पाएगा स्ट्रिंगर है भाई इस पे नोबडी के पास
It's not
में
like credits are going to be a problem anytime soon.
No, they're getting very
ना
close
होगा ना
to
इससे
max on almost every single player. And there you go. The additional kill will go his way. That's 6-0. Another
वो क्या
flying start for BBL. Of course, we've seen the pause a tiny bit earlier this time around, but looking very comfortable, controlled, and we should be seeing a heavier investment into this one. I'm hoping we maybe get to see the operator out from Concon.
They definitely need something to be the difference maker.
टाइम आउट ही नहीं ले
Doesn't
रहे
look
ये
like that's going to be
He
the
doesn't play for the
protocol.
team.
Okay. EDG. Concon himself under pressure. Good job he doesn't have the opposite. There's a lot of targets coming his way. Dodges the paranoia. Dodges the Hunter's Fury. But can't dodge the shots from Lover's Rock. And now it's Signed, who's being put under pressure every time. He's been caught off guard. He's been on the back foot. And indeed, he will backpedal to meet the rest of his team.
Spike isn't
Look
going this
at the
way.
position of Creven. He has taken all of the B site. EDG massively rotating, and they're still caught off guard! Larocque walked up on nobody in his drone, and nobody was covering him! Larocque in for more! He'll finally be put to bed a second time. 13-2, and the reward you get is a 3v2 retake on the other side of the map.
2v3 go let's go guys
A save. Well, that's what it feels like. You'd have to clear everything. And with the time that's already gone, the opportunity for it is basically null and void. I love this from BBL. You have been doing the same thing again and again from 6 rounds. The 4-1. Like, just send everybody one way, send Creven the other way. And after they get the opening pick, Creven just goes, guys, there's nobody here. And I don't mean the player. They made it so easy to rotate back the other way, even having the TP out from Loiter, so you can just take
BBL
the
एक
spike
और
out
राउंड
to
जीत
the
गई
side,
भाई
and then they leave another lurk in the form of your most aggressive player. Well, actually, him and Lover's Rock is kind of close, but
Yeah.
one of your most aggressive players,
Sorry.
and he just sits there and waits.
Him and Lover's Rock. You saw that Loida TP earlier onto Rubble. I think we can put a few more names in the hat. That's insane. The fact that he's able to walk through like that. Keep in mind, he's not even on his own. Lover's Rock was there with him to give him that extra layer. It's why he can push sight, not worry about that wraparound. But that's got to be a good blow for
लगता है
EDG.
छोटी स्ट्रीम होगी मेरी मैं
Nobody
एक में
caught with 3 teammates around him in his
एक
drone.
ही मैं खेल
And
देख
still
करना है
resolve the fake
स्ट्रीम
all the while.
वो
Lover's
टीम
Rock
की
down
ही
to 30, down to 0, right off rip.
हाँ
Damage from
लॉक
Concon.
इन हुआ
The dash back
मारो
though
मारो
might make
अरे
it think
कैसे
everybody's
मर
left. Now they
गया तो मर
know
गया
the spike is there.
तो मारा
Creven is being
ठीक है
chased, but he's making it away, at least for now. Concon won't let him go much further, but now there's backup, and a snake bite slows him. EDG though, they're ahead of the play, but they're all here again. They've given up all the space, and BBL have shown that they are willing to fill it in when it's wide open.
God, they found
मेरी साइड से कर लिए
that A
नहीं
site almost for free. Rose is
Not
very
again.
aggressive. He's going
Not
to try and get
again.
No.
past the
Oh!
He's going to catch him.
Bruh.
Stuck in it. It's been a nightmare for nobody. And Rose can look to try and hold on to this control. Good work, though, from the remaining players of EDG. A quick kill to clear him. 2 desperately low on the other side. And Loiter, the one healthy man, Larocque's lurk has been spotted. And he's now down to just 13 health.
He's walked back into the space. The knife just cleared that. You have to be suspicious, but Jenny also has to move to the side. He's going to go and help his teammates. Kreven's now taking one down, but okay, it's left onto this man, and he's low with a knife out.
Finally
catches him, and finally, a round is on the board for EDG.
खाता खोला EDG का.
Yeah, it's safe to say that it's a mountain that needs to be climbed, but it's one of those ones where you look back to the first half of the last map of being a 12-0 and you go, okay, at least this time they're on the board a little bit early on. I think we're seeing some of what we expect to get from Khan, him and Signed, bringing them a path back into the game after the aggressive positioning, but that has been the problem. There have been massive gaps throughout this defensive half. And of course, it's no surprise that there is plenty in terms of the credits. Lovers Rock buying into the operator on the attack. An investment that may just look to try and deny any of that defensive aggression, which is going to be coming.
Spike drop.
Reckon they check Chichu?
I don't think they do. It really depends on Jenny. And he's backed off the angle now. They start to think that this is a play elsewhere, that they have to cover off mid as the rotate comes in from nobody to go towards the A site, all thanks to the Viper wall. And now that means Chichu doesn't have backup. He doesn't have support. Even a flash can't make it through. He'll find one. Survives a full mat spray somehow. I mean, good work from Chichu. It looked like he should have gotten nothing.
Yeah, the Rock also tagged low, so an advantage once again. Rose, though, instead has managed to kill off Khan. The trades, again, though, are immediate. Lovers Rock with one more catching sign, and that gives them a path back towards the A site. In fact, they've left a player there once again. Lovers Rock will be able to get that plant in position, but there is LaRock catching Gianni. It leaves nobody to try and clutch out. To stop this being a 1-and done, to stop this being an 8-1 scoreline. Both remaining attack players are sat passively. They're checking for the flank. Of course, with LaRock low, you kind of expect him to be the first to peek, but they are sitting passively enough that they just wait for this player to get a move. Stun out already, and the second player still hasn't given the game away just yet. It's the run across, and LaRock didn't even need to peek whatsoever.
8-1.
That's a really tough situation now for EDG. That's a couple times, like, look at the rotate through mid. 2v3, Sign was completely caught off guard. And great start from Chichu. And the fact that they recovered it like that, but my guy's rotating through mid with his knife out. He's completely lost in the sauce. It's not like they had any reason to believe they couldn't be elbow. In fact, they had reason to believe they should be elbow. Small mistake, a big mistake, to be honest, and a very big cost paid for it. This was EDG's chance to fight back in. My heart goes out to him as a stand-in, but he's looking comfortable so far. Things have to change. One round on the board. BBL could be right back to winning ways. And the outlaw buy here for Lovers Rock. Look how confident he is. He knows the buy that they're on. You can see the economy.
Of course.
Double barrel operator now.
You win a round with not many surviving. Okay. Unchecked, there's nobody. They're even once again. Khan's going to try and be a little bit cheeky around the edge of that harbor utility. However, BBL are just patient. They're waiting it out. They know that the utility is probably the bigger risk in this one. Again, a 1-for-1 trade, and there's Khan to react. But once more, it goes back and forth. The advantage of this time claimed by EDG. It's up to Loiter. Now, the other defender is very far away. In fact, though, as he just about rotates in, that's where Loiter makes his move. Already on 3 kills in this round, looking for the ace. But Chichu might be a little bit further ahead than what he's expecting. Never mind, he's going to go forward. Is he looking to go all the way around?
I think he's just cutting the rotation through mid. Like, that's not a position you're going to expect someone to be sat in this situation. It's usually like you've got players on site distracting, but instead he's tucked in. Luckily, Jenny is clearing it.
Jenny.
The mistake there could have been costly. Especially early on, considering that plant location, he'd have to move. If Jenny falls early, all advantages slip. But he does.
Come back to नहीं हो सकता भाई बहुत tough
He was in the right place at the right time. He heard that TP be taken, so you know he's either spawn or making a play like that. Good
EDG
rotation
का
from EDG.
comeback
Good cautionary rotation
अगर भाई
from Chichu. He
3-4
stayed
राउंड
that side
और
for
ऐसे
so
निकाले
long,
ना
knowing that
स्मूथ,
TP was online.
4 राउंड और
Yeah,
चाहिए अगर
I
इनको
think
कमबैक करना है.
to be honest, everybody finding their one, but then it's this kill. It's Gianni making sure that you don't end up losing that fight
कंटिन्यूस 4 राउंड
and
और
being
जीतने
very
पड़ेंगे.
cautious on the rotation. It's a second round, but 8 is already pretty good on that attack side for BBL.
10 तो हो गए, 2 राउंड और जीतने पड़ेंगे,
And
फिर
there's no
4-8 का
guarantee
हो
that
जाएगा
they're
ना, फिर
stopping
कमबैक
at 8.
कर
Of
सकते हैं.
course,
2
flying
राउंड
back
इनको
up once
निकालने
again, but
पड़ेंगे
this time the Viper's Pit is going to delay
ADG
or
वाले को.
deny a lot of that A control, but it's not going to deny them the orb, which instead gets them a Hunter's Fury, and they have a Viper's Pit for a potential post
ड्रोन
plant. I
पहुंच
am,
ही नहीं
however,
पाया.
looking at Gianni with that null command. If you can deny a lot of that utility, you could make things a little bit tougher.
Perhaps that will have to be for the retake. Pit and 3 players towards the A side. And a Hunter's Fury fired in by the attackers, trying to hunt down that kill attempt, but it's Concom with a double. And the escape back, never mind, he's back for more! 3 versus 2, advantage claimed by Concon, and the round could be closed by nobody. This position is nigh on perfect, and the fact that he didn't help with the mid-fight makes you think that there's no way he'd be here, striking at just the right time. And now Kreven, as impressive as he's been, the big clutch. I mean, he can cross with the orb, he can put the pit down, and then this becomes a difficult enough round.
Depends if he wants to use it. Maybe one more kill and he might, but he's not going to get the opportunity. Nobody makes sure of it. A big round from Khan, a complete disruption of the attempted play by BBL. And again, seeing some of that individual flair we know he has in droves. 8-3 from what was a 7-1 scoreline. A pretty decent resurgence toward the end of the half. Of course, it's still going to be a mountain to climb in the second, but an 8-4 certainly looks better than where they would be at if not for some of these plays.
Oh yeah, every little is going to help. It's a damn sight better than it was last map. And I do think that for EDG,
एक और
we
निकालना
saw
है
this in the
EDG
last
में.
map as well, it proved to be true here more so. That on the defense, you just struggle so
मैं
much
रिव्यू नहीं कर पा रहा, बार-बार
when
कॉल्स
you
आ
have a
रहे हैं मेरे
stand-in. Gaps to rotations, everything suffers. For EDG, getting out 8-4 certainly makes it a lot more likely they're going to be able to trade blows in that next half and bring us all the way to sunset. For now, 5-man push towards this B site. Standing in their way, Chichu, who's been solid so far, and Jenny. A lot of utility as well that can come their way. The thing for BBL is that they're playing this so uncharacteristically slow. And I thought they were going to go for that mid split, but it looks like the plan is just to test a straight up fight.
Oh, snake bite. It's going to leave some of them a little bit vulnerable.
किए
First player through though. Nobody's done well to disrupt.
Good one, good one.
Back, nicely
Oh,
done by
nice shot,
Chichu.
bro.
And he's looking for a little bit more. The site
Three
hold
team
of
team
B
मिले भाई.
is his domain in this round. And Rose is now the last man standing, and the ult is there to finish him off.
भाई
It took a little while for
अब
EDG
comeback
to
हो
get
सकता है
going, but they've
EDG
at
का,
least got themselves a minimum amount of rounds. And
क्योंकि
that
4 का
early
डिफरेंस है, ठीक है.
blitzing has turned
अगर
into an 8-4.
कवर कर लिया ना भाई इन्होंने.
That's all they needed to do. The course correction here is clear from EDG. They're back in the game. If they can take a pistol, that gap closes in massively. And on the attack side, comfort should be there in a way that it certainly wasn't in the first. BBL were able to put a lot of pressure onto this squad. Whether it was the mid splits, that especially worked wonders for them. But the lurk
Guys, जितने भी लोग देख रहे हैं स्ट्रीम को लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब कर दो यार.
we saw players caught off guard, and of course Signed is the one that comes to mind.
600 सब्सक्राइबर के सिर्फ 6 सब्सक्राइब दूर है अपन.
or at least in very
जल्दी से
quick
कर दो.
succession, he is caught with a drone out. And it seemed like the game plan from EDG at the start required a couple of patches. But as we said, they got there in the end. In the second half, hopefully Comfort's going to be there as well.
और भाई UPI ID कम पिन है मेरी. UPI का
Yeah, I think
सुपर
it's
सेंड कर
much more
सकते हो आप.
difficult when you're going for those sort of death
अगर आप
balls.
सुपर चैट के थ्रू
Really
कोई
hold
क्वेश्चन
on
पूछना
to a lot
चाहते
of
हो
those
पूछ
early
सकते हो
fights, and
भाई.
then the retakes weren't really working out either, especially with what BBL was doing of just late implants. Like, even if they sometimes had direct lurks in the form of Kreven, other times they would take a space, implant someone, and then leave. And that was definitely causing problems. On the
वही
defensive
शो
side,
भी
that's
था ना,
become quite a
ड्रोन
bit
कर रहा
more
था वो,
difficult to do.
मार के चला गया उसको.
And as said,
बहुत
like,
गंदी
you're
बात
going to have
हुई.
the same opportunity with Khan leading the charge and potential for those executions. And also controlling the pace. I think that will help them out quite a bit, being able to have a focus on where you choose to fight. Of course, there's no doubt that the defensive side of BBL are also going to try and put the pressure on. They're going to try and take that space away, get up in your face, and I think it's going to be important that they do get a pistol, but also shut that down early. Make them doubt whether they
ये
can
टाइमर
push
क्या हो
mid
रहा है
or try and play for main, or
कुछ भी
have
चल
maybe
रहा है
even the
भाई.
operator controlling some ground. If you can do that, then maybe
कभी
there's a way back into
50
the
आ
map.
रहा,
But even at
8 डेड
8-4,
आ
even
गया.
with those,
कभी
what, 4 of the
0.26
last 5
what?
or 6 rounds going their way, it is still a hefty deficit. And without a pistol round, I still don't see a way back.
I agree with you. Yeah, the pistol, I'm almost putting into their hands already. For EDG's sake, I want to believe that they can find it, but the slope steepens if that's not acquired.
चलो
Presence
चलो.
of the A side. All 5 here. Knife sees no one
मेन
close,
पे
and it's time to pick up the pace.
3 गोस्ट
Concom
है,
leading the
3
charge.
क्लास, दो
Kreven
क्लास है.
on the other
Yeah,
side,
dude.
giving up that space. They will play
सोवा
for the
वाइपर
retake.
रीटेक पे खेलेंगे अब.
Not that they have much of a choice.
Yeah, direct stuff. Not wasting any time for EDG. That was the expectation, but now BBL going to be patient themselves. I'm liking the position of Chichu. Maybe a chance to catch someone, but timing here is going to be everything. If he goes back
क्या लग रहा
through
है,
the door,
निकाल पाएंगे?
even if he doesn't, it's given the game away to LaRock that somebody is going to be around this angle. He's waiting for his teammates to make a bit of a move to buy him some additional space, and this is going to be worse for Chichu. Literally the second he stopped watching, and because of that, everything falls apart. Khan is all that stands in their way from this second pistol round, but he's the man that may just be able to save them. Never mind. Loiter will find 3. And maybe a little bit wary about the time. He didn't want to give that defuse over. There was plenty, but
Yeah.
Hey, better safe than sorry.
I think LaRock was saying, can I have that? Can I? No? Okay.
No, I need mine from the shadows,
time,
bro.
it's ticking so quick, bro. I couldn't hear it.
I need it for rotations.
But that play from LaRock to sit for that long. If
EDG का comeback मुश्किल है भाई.
If he could see his opponent's screen, he wouldn't have timed that as well.
उनको insane खेलना पड़ेगा अपना 100% देना.
Pixel perfect.
No, you'd go right after he turned.
Yeah,
That's when
you'd be looking at his screen. You'd have to turn back.
No, instead, this is while he's half turned.
It's
like there was never
काम
any
तो
way
किया है गेम पे ना.
that Chichu could react to that.
And of all the times to get unlucky, 8-4 down in a pistol round.
से पे push कर रहे हैं.
Because that's what that is. The rest is not unlucky, but the first one most certainly was. EDG. Oh,
okay.
Shaky from
Oh,
Rock.
nice.
Okay, an opportunity. Signed is the one to claim that scalp. And he goes pushing further. Up close to the wall. Spam's now going to come his way, and he will be taken down as a result. They still have that outlaw, though. Dangerous for so many of these players, and in the hands of Khan, it's damn right deadly.
Yeah, Loiter's the only one who can survive a shot. Fortunately, Kreven will land his first. Nobody's managed to pick it up, but now it's gone out of the round, and everything else is literally just down to Chichu. Very well dealt with by BBL. A conversion round that sees them take 4 rifles into the next round. They're making sure that this bonus is going to be a deadly one.
Double digits for BBL so early on. This is really surprised me here today. And I'd like to look at it as the level of BBL has increased. I think they prepared extremely well for this game. Looking at the first map in particular, like that was...
The Cypher change worked wonders.
Like, genuinely, you'll never see a counter work that well. Like, at least 99% of the time, it's not as obvious that that was the counter and that was what changed it. But here, there was no way to argue it. But then coming into this map, I believed it would be a different story because it's not like we have that scenario to play out again. Yet EDG struggle. Now with the rifles in hand, this has to be where things take a turn for the better. And a turn for the worse for BBL. Otherwise, big trouble on the horizon. Paranoia. I don't think it caught contact. It doesn't matter. LaRock's there, ready to defend his buddy. And now took
Nobody
the
ने मारा.
He'll strike from
लोहित
it
ने भी मार
alongside
दिया.
Rose.
एक उनका
Shaky,
ट्रेड
but
दर
he
है.
gets there.
अरे
In the end, signed and
2v3
Chichu surrounded,
2v4 2v4
outnumbered. Is that late play from Chichu? Comes
2v3
in.
2v3
He's got
2v3
no one to meet back
rotate
up
मत
with,
है.
and 4 opponents to take down, and
Flank
no
जा रहा है.
control of the
Flank
spike.
जा रहा है.
Any positives?
Yes sir.
Still got his orb. Walls in the right place. There's 2 for you.
He's alive.
Got a rifle.
It looks like
There's 3.
Vandal.
It's a lot of good things going. And probably the biggest upside to having a rifle is that he can save it for the next round. Because if you throw yourself at this one at 10-4 down, we might as well just call it GG right there and then. You're not playing for the future rounds. You're playing to lose here and now. And it's not that bad if he plays exits. Because again, look at the economy. It's not like this rifle could save the day. And maybe managing BBL a little bit if he gets all 4 kills, for example. Orbs towards his ult. And it will have an effect down the line on the comeback that EDG already need. But I don't want to see him running at the site. That would be a bit silly.
4-10.
But no, it seems like the plan is
1v4.
most certainly to try and save the gun, of course, for BBL. This is a wonderful opportunity just to try and upgrade everything as they go. Go from what was good rifles to the best we have to offer. Every single one of them with that upgrade, and well, they are going to go walking towards Chichu. I don't know if he ended up surviving that round. I hope for his sake he did.
A lot of y'all are wondering, what are we going to do if he saves the rifle? I guess we'll never know. I think for EDG, at this point, rifle or not, the problems come down to something far greater than that. BBL are on form. And thank you very much to our producer. He did not survive the round, so the rifle will be removed in the end by that swing out from Rose. For BBL, 2 rounds is all they need to close this out. A 2-0 lights out series up against EDG. The comeback for the attackers, well, certainly running out of runway. A lot faster than a Furious movie. With the smoke down, a reveal behind it. Maybe a chance if that can catch a few players, but it's not caught anything.
Oh my!
In for the double! And
EDG को भाई क्या मार दिया?
same again. Chichu's at the double doors, late to the party, and it's already
भाई
over.
वो बंदा रिएक्शन नहीं दे पा रहा. इतना फास्ट फिक्स हो रहे भाई.
He ran out into the open like that. That was genuinely like running into no
What was
man's land with a
that, man?
grenade.
What was
Just
that?
like, yep, I'm going down, but
I've got
someone's
something
coming with
for
me.
ya.
I'm surprised he got away with as much, but it is literally
Yeah,
just
भाई
the
वो-
surprise factor.
भाई क्या मार
Okay,
रहा है
at this
भाई?
point, let's just take risks. I've got 4 young superstars behind me that if I get nothing, it doesn't even matter that much. And it's safe to say they weren't looking anywhere else.
I think
12 to 4.
I think our analyst desk had a heart attack. I can see Morgan sprinting over here to the desk. They didn't think this would be over this quickly. And I don't blame him.
No.
Especially not on this map. And if it was, I thought it'd be EDG dominantly winning.
Okay.
A great start for Chichu.
That's an important one. They've taken out Loiter as well.
2 मार दिए.
The wall has also blocked them from spotting the push-up. Kanka maybe further forward than expected.
Good one, good one, good one.
Kreven
ऊपर 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 भाई ऊपर.
now. Might even be worth
Neon off लेके
just
बैठे हैं.
taking through into the next round. They do have plenty of credits to play with,
2v5
but that
2v5
doesn't mean you want to just
2v5
hand it over to the other side. LaRock, however, may still feel like he can go for something here. They're looking to try and hunt down Lover's Rock. He's creating a little bit for himself, but LaRock has gone on the other side instead. And now it's just if he could hold the gun, and he won't be able to. Great work from EDG.
Finally.
An A hit into an A hit into an A hit into an A hit, and
EDG
finally
का
they made
एक
one
round
work.
And I
win
think
किया.
realizing that BBL, if they are holding mid, it's from much deeper. That those rotations aren't necessarily the reason that Chichu's finding the free space in the late round, so he goes a little bit earlier, and this time it works wonders. Obviously alongside the Reckoning, which is robbing any information out of those players on site, especially the one that gets dove onto with the drone. It's a good read. Chichu was late to the party a couple rounds in a row, so this time they send him early. And a round on the board as a result. Is it a flash in the pan or the beginning of something we'll remember for a long time to come? 7 in a row needed for EDG in a game that they have been shut out of. They found 9 rounds across both maps so far. Aggression from Con shuts down the quick rotation, but they haven't seen. Kreven was a lurker. Kreven was waiting all the while.
1v4
And now he
भाई.
strikes from the
Anti.
sidelines, leaving Con alone,
Ah,
leaving EDG with a trip
भाई
home.
क्या जीत गया
BBL
BBL?
push through to playoffs.
Yeah, we saw the
Wait,
organization do the
wait.
same thing last year, but for this squad coming into what was clearly a tough group on paper. Sure, it was a weakened EDG, but it was one that still had some bite left in them. But today, utterly dominant display from start to finish. A 12-0 start in that first half, and they look like they might do the same in this second map as well. They didn't let their foot off the gas throughout the entirety of it, and I'm sure for EDG it is the second time at EWC that they will go out in the group stage, but it is a wounded team that I'm sure later in the year will come back much stronger.
They came in here with a stand-in and they did a decent job of it, but we could see the cracks there as expected. If EDG were on their full form, no doubt we would have gotten a closer matchup here today. But one thing is for sure, whatever power level EDG came in on, BBL have stepped up since the start of this tournament. They looked clean on Lotus, a map that had problems for them in every series so far. And now they've come through to prove that they didn't just patch it. Oh, they fixed it top to bottom. This ship has been rebuilt. Not even Theseus could tell the difference.
BBL
Now
won, guys.
2-0. That's going to be them stepping into
GG's.
playoffs with a lot of confidence.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure that anybody would like to be coming up against them, and they join the lone 100 Thieves alongside 4 EMEA teams. And do you know what? I know we always throw to Digon, but I'm excited what this man has to say. The EMEA traitor. How you doing, Morgan?
We'll hear from Big Time in just a little bit to talk about EMEA supremacy. Pacific not looking so great. The East not looking so great right now, as it is a dominant performance here. A 2-0
guys.
map victory, series victory.
अपन ने स्ट्रीम कर ली EDC और BBL की, बिकॉज नेक्स्ट किसका एनआरजी और कार्माइन कॉर्प का है, वो हम अनफॉर्चुनेटली स्ट्रीम नहीं कर पाएंगे बिकॉज मेरे को बाहर जाना है फॉर सम फंक्शन फैमिली, दैट्स व्हाई एनआरजी और केसी की हम स्ट्रीम नहीं कर पाएंगे। ओके गाइस, मिलते हैं अब आपको कल सीधा स्ट्रीम के अंदर। वहां पे अपन स्ट्रीम दोनों के मैच दोनों टाइम्स की करेंगे, मीबर लॉस AGAL की, देन फिर करेंगे नॉमशम रेड फोर्स की, फिर G2 की करेंगे। ठीक है, ये दोनों गेम्स हो रहे हैं ना, इन दोनों की कल पक्का करेंगे, अच्छे से करेंगे। तो गाइस आज के लिए यहीं पे स्ट्रीम को ऑफ करते हैं। बाय बाय, गुड नाइट, सी यू। और अगर आप बाद में भी कोई बंदा देख रहा है तो स्ट्रीम के अंदर UPI ID पिन है, आप सुपर चैट कर सकते हैं। कोई भी क्वेश्चन सुपर चैट के थ्रू पूछ सकते हैं, उसका आंसर कल की स्ट्रीम में किया जाएगा। तो मिलते हैं कल 4:30 को। लेट्स गो, बाय गाइस, गुड नाइट, टाटा, बाय बाय। Bye guys. Bye bye. Bye bye bye.